got to look at, technology and social media. And even though they may not be, listening to the news every day, they have a social media, Facebook or Instagram page. And if you got, friends on your page, your friends going to pump you up, So they're hearing the chatter, and sometimes they can get a little bit above themselves. And you're right. I mean, once you get, your head gets swelled up, then you feel all you got to do is show up, and you can win. But, it's a lot more difficult than that. And they'll learn, like you say, they're young, and it takes some ups and downs and takes some defeats, to learn how to win. And, that's part of the coach's, responsibility as well. But I think what they experienced last year, I think they want to go, the Sixers, that is, a lot further, this year. So, they'll learn not to listen to the chatter and just get out there and focus and just, play ball.
Right. And just show up every night. Show up with that intensity, with that passion, because that is what, like you said, intensity and focus and playing hard. I mean, that'll get you some wins that you maybe thought you couldn't get. But going into the remainder of this series, do you see any way the Nets can possibly win this series, or you think it's pretty much over?
No, I don't think they can win this series. I really, at this point, don't think they can win another game. I think Sixers are going to take care of business because, they realize, that you can't play around, with these guys. I mean, you can't play around with the Nets or any other team for that matter. So if you have that talent level, then you need to rise to the occasion. And the thing is, we're all human. And sometimes it can be a letdown. Sometimes you may have some things going on in your personal life. And I mean, 82 games is a long season, and with the wear and tear on your body, that's why, we was talking earlier about, Embiid. I'm concerned about him because of his height and because of his weight. We don't know when he's going to come back. So they need to close these guys out to hopefully rest Embiid and get him back for the next round. So I think they're motivated to close it out now. And when you got, some veterans on your squad like J.J. Redick and Jimmy Butler, hopefully they're in these young guys' ears and telling them, we need to take care of business. So I think they'll take care of business.
All right, and I agree with you. I agree with you on that series wholeheartedly because it's just on paper it just doesn't match up, and they have too much, and this should not be something that they would lose. Going to the next series, I was just talking about this. I got my dad on the line, BS Jr. on the line. Appreciate him for calling in. We got Spurs and Nuggets. Spurs, like I was just saying, even though they're the 7th seed, this is not a team that is a 7th seed team. They're not coached like a 7th seed. They don't necessarily play like a 7th seed, and their coach has been in numerous experiences like this. But I think it's the comparison or the difference between the Western Conference and the Eastern Conference. The Spurs are 48-34 on the regular season. They would have been 5th coming out of the East.
Right.
And right now they're 7th because the Western Conference is just more competitive. So I'm heavily leaning towards the Spurs. I think that the Nuggets, with them being able to get to this point is great, but I don't know, when you get into playoff time, everything's different. But give me your take on last night's game and the Nuggets and Spurs.
Well, look at the Spurs, and when you look at, Popovich, then you have to realize that this is a Hall of Fame coach, and he's got his system, and the system been working for decades. And he can just plug people in and they can get some wins. And, the Nuggets are pretty talented. But the thing is, I can't really, I'm not a betting man, but I can't, bet against Popovich. And we forget, he got some ballers, man, Aldridge and DeRozan. And then he also got Rudy Gay. So even though he got some young guys, it's a pretty good mix of rookies. Got a couple of rookies in there, that's been balling as well. What's that young guy named White? Yeah, White. He's been balling at 36 points. But, the Nuggets, they got some talent. They got some experience from last year. They got that Dookie Plumlee, so I really can't, pull from them because anybody that comes from Duke is on my negative list.
Right.
So, but they got Millsap, and they got some good players. But I don't know, man. It's kind of like the New England Patriots. When you look at the San Antonio Spurs, and when you look at Popovich, it's hard to pull against them, and because of his coaching style and the way he gets these guys motivated, just like it's hard to pull against Belichick. He can plug in some people, some rookies, and some 2 years with the vets and tend to win. So when you look at the record, you tend to think about Denver, but when you look at the coaching staff and the players that they have some experience. I got to go with San Antonio. I know that's a tough one, but I got to go with San Antonio.
Yeah, and I would have to say, I'll have to be honest, I was picking the Nuggets. I just thought like the Spurs' time has passed, but I was clearly wrong because Popovich is still that guy. He can still, and I said this on a previous show, what he's been able to do in the league is unprecedented. He's been able to do it with multiple players, multiple teams, a lot of guys that we never heard of, and he's been able to put a team together, put them on the floor, and they've been able to win consistently. I can't remember the last time they had a losing season. I don't think maybe they haven't had one at all under Popovich, which is beyond amazing alone by itself. So that just shows that Popovich is really the common denominator in all of this. He's the guy that's been there the longest. He's been able to show that it doesn't matter who comes through those doors. He's going to get those people ready to play and give them the best shot to win in whatever series it is. So that's
right.
a lot of praise. A lot of praise to Popovich.
And the thing about it is, when you look at the standings, it's kind of hard. It's kind of like March Madness to see a 2, go up against a 7 and say, well, the 7 seed, has a chance against the 2 seed. But that's the thing about Popovich, man. He's been dealing with regular season, records, and he's the one that initiated, rest your all-stars.
Right.
And because of that, he knows what the focus is, and he knows that the most important time is playoff time. And I think he's, got them rookies. They're not playing like rookies anymore. So regardless that they're 7, it's hard for me to go against Popovich. It really is.
Right. And I agree with you there, too. And I think I've come to my senses now that Popovich is still that guy. I cannot doubt Popovich. It's the same thing with the Patriots. In the Super Bowl, I always pick against the Patriots because I'm not that big of a fan of the Patriots. So I picked the Rams, and everybody was saying this is still Belichick, this is still Tom Brady. And that's really what it comes down to. Let me give a shout out to D Nice in the chat room. Thank you for tuning in. And everybody that's your first time tuning in, thank you very much. Create a profile, join into the conversation. It's a very interactive show. I will shout you out. Also, we are taking callers the entire show. So I will put out that 469-351-0881 right after this phone call if you want to call in. Now, a series that you're extremely excited about. My coworkers were like, oh, your dad got to be excited with the way this series is going with the Clippers. And I was like, of course he is. It's the Warriors. So the Warriors and the Clippers, Warriors woke up and they end up trouncing the Clippers. You have a photo of KD laughing over what's my guy's name? The pest on that team, Patrick Beverley's shoulder.
Patrick Beverley, yeah.
Yeah, it is. I love his play. I love that the Clippers snuck in, but they snuck in, and you're going up against the Giants. So, but talk about this game from last night and the future of the series, especially with Boogie's going to be out for the rest of the playoffs now.
Right. Well, before I talk about last night, just let me let you know that I wanted to punch the TV on Monday night. I mean, I was so disgusted, and that's the Warriors' problem, man. I mean, that can be any champion's problem. You get, like days ago, and you get arrogant, and you just feel that, once you're up, that everybody's going to fold and just throw in the towel. But I got to give Doc Rivers some credit, man. I mean, Doc, he should be running for Coach of the Year, what he accomplished with those guys. So I got to give Doc some props. But last night, like you said, they woke up a sleeping giant. I mean, KD, and KD is a strange dude, man. I'm just telling you. I don't know.
You never lied.
KD is a strange dude, man. I don't know if you saw that photo, but they was doing an interview with the Hampton Five, and Steph and Iguodala was, they was joking, and Draymond was joking, and KD was just sitting there frowning and like he didn't want to be there. This was after a practice a couple of nights ago, and so I thought about it, and I'm like, what's up with this dude? So I'm talking to Mom, and and then the light just went on. These other guys, man, they married, they got kids, and they happy. KD is not happy, man. I guess he thought the championship was going to make him happy, 2 MVPs. Finally, MVPs will make him happy. But, once they, insulted him, then, he stepped up his game, and now he's playing, with more excitement and more determination to get these guys out of the way. But, Beverly's a pest, and Doc's got them guys playing, man. He's got some young guys on that roster, too, and with these refs, man, I don't know if you're going to talk about it in this segment, but I'm telling you, these refs, man, they are horrible. They're horrible, man. I'm telling you, got my boy Steph out, some bogus touch foul, and they rescinded the text on KD. I don't know if you've seen that or not.
Nah, the one that got him kicked out?
No, the one that from last night, him and Green, I think his name is Michael Green. They was laughing and talking smack. They were just talking, junk to one another, and they were laughing and chopping it up and talking smack, and the ref called a tech on them. And they were talking to one another. They were just talking smack.
Right.
So, I think they got their attention. That's what they need. They just needed a wake up call, and that was the perfect one to get. I mean, if you win a close one where you in it to the end, that's one thing. But to be up by 31 and then lose, it's like, okay, this is embarrassing.
Yeah.
So
that's beyond embarrassing right there. That's the
right.
largest comeback ever in playoffs.
That's one record. That's one record you don't want.
Right. You're on the wrong side of history on that one.
Right. So I'm excited, man, that they finally got it on track. But I feel like we talked earlier, man. I feel sorry for Boogie. It's like, wow. He had his opportunity not only to get a championship and get some playoff experience, and now with this injury, he's out. And we was talking, earlier about, track. So he may just stay with the Warriors. I don't know. It's going to be tough. So Looney is playing, man. I'm proud of that boy Looney. He's getting fadeaway jumpers and getting offensive rebounds, and so Looney's done stepped up his game, and they got old man Bogut back.
Right. That one kind of surprised me. That they picked him up, but I mean they're gonna attract everybody, but also they know what they need, and if they can get 5 minutes out of him a game, 10 minutes out of him a game, right, it's better than nothing.
Right. Well, he got 14 rebounds last night, 8 points, 5 assists. And that's the thing about the Warriors, man. Joe Lacob, these guys are so far ahead of the game that I don't know how they knew that one of the players was going to go down and that it was Boogie. But just think if they didn't have, Bogut, when Boogie went down. Because they're going to need him when it comes to the next round. So it's unfortunate for him, but, we won without him, and we can win, again without him. But, as long as they step up, as long as Clay hits his shots, he's been kind of off, and we'll be fine. We'll take care of the Clippers. I mean, like I said, they woke us up. We're going to take care of them. They're not going to win another game.
Yeah, I got to agree with you on that one. And I just had somebody that just called in, whoever that was, called back in about 5 minutes, because I got my pops on the line right now. BS Jr., that's where the BS3 part comes in at. So whoever that was, area code 505, call back in about, like I said, in about 5 minutes.